celebrating our end of year, and Lone Star Disc was kind enough to come out here and set up the holes for the kids to just kind of get some exposure to the sport since they've never done it before. So, and I think maybe 2 of these people have ever played before, so it's really fun. So I was so grateful to.
And how old are
the kids? Range in ages from, in our program, from 4 to all the way to 12th grade. And so right here we have kids ages 4 to, I think, like 15, or 15 is our eldest right now. So that's what I love, is that it doesn't matter how gifted your kids are, if they're not super sporty or whatever. And my daughter actually has struggles to use her right hand, so she can really only use one hand. And again, disc golf is perfect. That's something she can do and participate in and move from hole to hole. Or if she was in her chair, if it's a lot of walking, we could put her in a chair and move her from hole to hole, and it's great. So, and Travis really has a really strong passion for bringing the sport to kids. Like, that's something he and I have talked about for like years now. He's like, how can I get kids involved? How can I get kids involved? And so this is kind of just a little start. I was like, hey, just come to our party. Like, come to our end of year party. Like, just get more and more kids exposed. Because the truth is, like, a lot of people know about disc golf, but there's a lot of families that may or may not know. And the courses are kind of hidden, so it's kind of hard to find. So I love that. And I really want to try to get that in the homeschool world, because homeschool sports are massive. They're huge. We love to find things to do during the day, and often the courses are not flooded during the day. And so that's something that our kids and our families can get out once they're done with their work, you know, or sometimes they'll go play in the morning and then do the work in the afternoon. That's the beauty of homeschooling. Weekend school, on the go, anywhere, anytime.
The Fling Show. The Fling Show. Y'all wanna know about the mystery of flight. You wanna hear about the scene done right. So kill your TV and just come outside. We're gonna take you on a beautiful ride. The Fling Show. The Fling Show. The Fling Show. The Fling Show. The Fling Show.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Days and the people that I've known forever, and I'm at that age where you kind of go like, yeah, that's damn it,
Right.
right? Yeah. So
Welcome
I
to
will
the
find
Fling
out.
Show.
Yeah, welcome
Yeah,
to
right.
the Fling Show. I kind of remember, sort of, right?
Any of those pressure thoughts, really center yourself, like where you're at, the shot you're throwing, trying to just really let everything besides the basket lead away.
Last chance. Romance for the north side.
There we go. Insurance or not, I don't think
Put it back on his head.
that
That would have been cool.
Are you still there? Oh God, are you still there?
My first question came up. I was kind of just briefly Googling all these amazing people. There were 4 people into the 2023 Texas Disc Golf Hall of Fame, and I ran across this guy named Don Wilczek, famous for his thumber roller. Can you explain a thumber roller to me? It's kind of like a pancake shot. I don't know what that is.
God, I don't have a disc on my
Right
desk.
behind you.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, there's a problem right there. I mean, he would throw it. If you guys can see that, you see my thumb on the inside like that?
Right?
Yeah, he would throw it like that.
Pop it down.
Pop it down.
All right.
And he was just dead on accurate with it. And that's how, you know, he started playing with big rim frisbees. He was a guts player out of Chicagoland, guts all around. And so his first experiences with disc golf were with frisbees and then with the Midnight Flyer, when Ed put phosphorus in the discs to make them heavier. and he made him a little bit smaller, the 50 mold. And Don threw that thumber like that, and he became not only deadly accurate with it, but one of the best players. And in that era, he could be considered probably the best player of all time during those early years.
And he's in the PDGA Hall of Fame.
Let me correct
2014.
you on that. It's
Okay.
It's the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. Prior to that, it was the Disc Golf Hall of Fame. It has never been a PDGA Hall of Fame. It's a separate entity. So that is you are not the only one that says that. That is a huge mission that we're, on here since taking over. But yes, Don was inducted into the Disc Golf Hall of Fame in 2014.
When you said that he made the disc, who did he make those discs for, Andy?
Ed Hedrick, he added the phosphorus to the plastic so that it would, when it was molded, it would be heavier.
Through what company, though? Was it
Whammo.
Huh?
Whammo.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Ed.
I have one. I'm not sure. You can tell me. This says 1976.
It's got flight rings on it. Yep. Yeah, it's got flight rings on it.
Yeah. Okay. This one is Frisbee Disc Golf, around 9.
Here's
the Houston area.
Here's one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's original one. Look, my name, PDGA number, 170 grams. Look how thick that rim was. So yeah, this is what Don learned to throw.
Nice.
Summer.
That's the one with the phosphorus.
Yes, and they came out heavier and they glowed. Midnight Flyers.
So that would have been superior to this guy for long drives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for clearing that
If
up.
I got that all right, I pull on, my longevity things that I've learned as well. So I get a lot of it right, but might be something here or there.
Well, let's move on to Tom Wingo, number 537. Played one PDGA tournament, I noticed, or that's all that they showed on their page.
There was no organized tour. The most organized tour back in the 70s and 80s, and Tom Wingo goes back to like original disc golf history for the state of Texas, from the Dallas area. Him and Moises Alfaro and the other guy's name, it's on the tip of my tongue, but up in that area they played, and it was mostly all around events that included a disc golf discipline, and a lot of them were they weren't all baskets, that's for sure, but he was the dominating force in that arena. He played all around the region, and back then the most organized tour was called the North American Series. Don Wilczek was also traveled the country back in the early 80s, and that's where he, that's why so many people around the country knew who he was, because he did that tour back then, and he won 6 in a row of the North American Series. And so Tom, back in the 70s and 80s, they were the grassroots of disc golf competition for the state of Texas. And over the first 5-6 years of the Texas Disc Golf Hall of Fame, some of these really deep pioneers were kind of overlooked. And so this year, there was a lot of discussion. Last year, it kind of really started where, you really need to dig a little deeper and get down to the real beginning of some of this history for Texas. And that's kind of what we've had going on.
Team, was there a time when there wasn't a class? Was 2020 or 21? Because I'm not seeing those classes on here.
I'll tell you, and I need to go back and update this page or finish out and bring it to current history. So we did the class of 2016 in Waco at Texas State's, and then the class of 2017, we had Baytown. because we tied it, you know, we're going to have it at Texas State's every year. Then in 18 and 19, of course, we had it in our own backyard. And then in 2020, we had the election, we elected the class, and then we were scheduled to go to Tyler and have it there. And Waco got canceled. And then the whole world just about got canceled with the pandemic. And so the class of 2020 sat in limbo. We knew who it was, we knew who the class was, but we were in a pandemic. And so we just sat tight for 2 years. And then last year in May, I believe, yeah, Mitch and Gordon and myself, and things were starting to open up and loosen up. And we said, okay, let's resume and let's honor the class of 2020. So the class of 2020 was honored last year in 2022. And yeah, we brought in that class of 3. That was Jay Redding, Patty Justice, and Vinnie Miller.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was last year at the brewery, where we just had it this past weekend, which are extremely supportive, and it's just a wonderful venue for this. In the beginning, you saw the what we used for the first 3 classes for the representation of Texas States. Vinny came up with that originally, because Vinny was the one in 2016 that said, hey, it's time that Texas has a Hall of Fame and you're going to be in it. And I said, okay, then what? that's kind of how it's.
And then you run it. Basically.
Kind of.
And then
right.
you take it over.
Exactly. But then when we brought it back in last year, Mitch reached out to me and said, we want to resume. Yeah, this is perfect. So he has taken over since I'm now, you know, the executive director for the World Disc Golf Hall of Fame. And him and Gordon and Brian, I mean, amongst us, we kind of always shared the responsibility and kept it going. And so there's a really good core group that realizes how important this is, because it is. It's very important.
Well, we really appreciate it. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Gordon, because I think he ran the very first tournament that I played, which was Waterloo in Austin, which back then was downtown, you know.
Yep.
Which was a really fun course.
Yep.
Tell us just a little bit about Gordon, because he's in the pictures and he's just that smiling presence that's always around. Every time you see him, it's like full of love, and I have a lot of, you know, memories, and but I don't know anything about him, you know.
Well, Gordon came into the picture. I'll tell you, we formed HFDS in the early 90s, and then I want to say when, you know, I was really good friends with Billy West and Sherry Carley and Becky Forsythe, and they observed HFDS and what we did. And it was time for Austin to form a club. They really didn't have a formal organization. And that's when Gordon came into the picture, when they formed the Austin Waterloo Disc Golf Club. He and Becky and a core group of about 4 or 5 or 6. And Gordon has been with that organization from the day that they started it. And they became a 501 before HFDS did. And so Gordon has been kind of at the helm of Waterloo Disc Golf from day one, back in the, I want to say it was probably the later half of the 90s. And so Waterloo, the tournament had been going on already for a very long time. And he became the tournament director, I want to say, and I have to look this up because actually I was a Waterloo virgin in 2003. They do a cool thing. If it's your first Waterloo ever, they call you out at the players meeting and make you stand up, and they throw you a mini. And so when I never went to Waterloo until 2003, and when they called out the virgins to stand up, you know, they didn't believe it. I had never been there until then. But Gordon has fostered that tournament, kept it under his wing, still runs it to this day, and he has been instrumental in the growth and keeping Waterloo Disc Golf Club together, running their minis. Gordon's just kind of like, the captain of the ship up there, and remains that to this day.
Let's move on to Sam Grizzoffi. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Grizzoffi. Sam Grizzoffi.
Yeah. Well, the thing that stood out to me, obviously, he almost took Ken Climo down in 1990. He lost by one stroke in a really, really strong field of players. So by this time in 1990, you already had like, 100, almost 200 players at Worlds competing for that title. It was a lot of players.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting about that? You still didn't need a minimum number of points for an invitation. If you wanted to go, it still wasn't an event that, like today, like you better be sitting at your computer when it goes live or else you're on the wait list, right?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right. I remember,
Sam Grizzoffi was a very, very strong player from the Dallas area. Mikey Sayer Day, when Mr. Jim, Brian James, was running tournaments up in the Dallas area, Sam Grizzoffi was a force to contend with, and he probably gave Ken Climo the best run for his money that he ever had at World Championships. And after Sam finished second place to him by one stroke, well, then, Kenny went on to win, 9 in a row?
9 more. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What would have happened if he had won that tournament, with Climo's career?
Right.
I'm sure he would have gone because he was an amazing, amazing athlete and still is. How things would have changed, and I wonder if Sam thinks about that a lot.
I'm sure he does.
I wonder if he knows which stroke. And is Sam still with us? That's the other question.
Sam is still with us, and I wondered for a long time. You didn't hear his name anymore. He was around for quite a few years after that, and then I just learned recently Bill Burns came down to do Sam's acceptance, and we would have loved to have had Sam here, but I just learned, I believe it was in 2008, Sam suffered a brain aneurysm. I didn't know either for quite a while, and so when his name came up this year and we were talking about it is when I really reconnected and was able to learn more mostly from my Dallas brothers and sisters up there, because I really didn't know either until recently. But yes, he is still with us, and he was told about it, and Bill shared his joy, and that he has gotten out. He had very limited mobility, but he has gotten out and is able to throw a disc a little bit, and now he's in the Texas Disc Golf Hall of Fame.
Maybe you can fill us in a little bit on Bauman.
Well, I will. Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
You see that poster right there?
Uh-huh.
That is only I think 25, 30 different logos from Waterloo, and Jimbo Bauman did every single one of them.
All right, nice.
He but in addition to that, Jimbo started playing back when Don Wilczek and Tom Wingo were playing, but he was from the Austin area, traveling the country on his own. He did the Rose Bowl. Jimbo goes back to the very roots of the beginning of disc golf as well. And he settled in Austin and forever an artist, and did just about everything he ever did. He's done it by hand.
Oh, nice.
And every year of Waterloo, he has done the logo. I think he's done it for almost every single year, if I'm not mistaken. And he always, there was always a tie, some kind of tie to it, like this one, for instance. You see that right there?
Mm-hmm.
With 33 and a half from a vinyl little record.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, that was the 33rd year of Waterloo. And over the years, he's given me all kinds of different stuff. He made this. He made this just for just for this weekend. He's always drawing stuff up. Yeah, our class of 2023. I mean, we've reached really deep,
Yeah.
and yeah. So
Well, go ahead, Chris.
Oh, there's a couple, man. We so very few times get to talk to you. So there's a couple things I do want to talk to you about what you're doing currently. First off, can you give us a little insight on the Wildflower Tour and how those things, just the amazing participation so far?
oh my God, our girls here in right here in our backyard, they are so excited. My little chicks. I call them my little chicks all the time. You guys are all my kids. but the chicks are just, they're so excited, and it's so much fun for me because they are, I'm just like over the top, just kind of guiding, and they're doing it. And we are hitting the ground running with this thing. We already have sponsorships. We've got plans. We've got the course. I've already got the layout. We're doing a really cool thing with the, as soon as the amateur players that are going to play the shorter course get through it, the guys, it's going to be, okay, guys, move the basket, because we're going to lengthen the course during it. Before the ladies coming through next, we've got photo booth, we've got sponsors coming in. We are going to be hitting up all the organizations to come out and set up a table to support the girls that day. We have a field of, we're planning for 72, but I can expand. If that fills, we can expand to 84 in a heartbeat. It'll be 1-day event, September 17th, 2 shotgun rounds, and it just a crap load of good time and camaraderie.
Loving the artwork on that one too, and not just the artwork, but the theme of it.
Yeah.
Really cool. Where did that come from? Who was the brainchild? Who was pumping that out?
That's Chrissy, and that comes from Chrissy. That was her baby up there. And that group is the girls in Austin are just doing an amazing job with women's growth and women's tour. And they have Stephanie Vincent, and they have Des. They have Des kind of as their, like here in Houston, the girls, they kind of have me as the kind of been around the guidance. And then up there in Austin, they've got longevity with Des, and they're doing some cool stuff. But and I'm not exactly sure who came up with the different events artwork. I know that Chrissy is, and she's the one that, that was her original. She's the one that came up with it. It's U.S. Women's. And it's for 2024. It's for next year. It's U.S. Women's. And yes, I'm happy to say that Chris, they asked for a letter of recommendation, and I wrote it, and others also, and we sent it to the PDGA, and they got the bid. So that's a big plan for next year. The exact date isn't exactly known just yet, but we've got the U.S. Women's coming back to Texas.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, Andy. I do know that this rain, we're all from Houston, Texas, born and raised. For myself, this rain has also done a little bit of reorganizing of the backside of the course again. How is old hole 9, I guess, which is hole
7
now, 7, right?
Man, okay, so we hadn't had really any weather water issues at Spring Valley for about 2.5 years. We have not had that much water in a very, very long time. And so I believe the terrain and the creek was really, really loose and dry. And so when this water came up, it came up very, very high, and it's so sandy back there. And the creek has been trying to, well, y'all have seen what it did to old hole number 5, So the same thing was going on back there on 8 and 9, which became 6 and 7. And so this time, I mean, I really couldn't believe it. It took about 25 feet from the edge, and it just swallowed the tee box, the rest of the edge. It swallowed the whole thing. And so number 7, old number 9's tee box now is, when the water went down, we could look over the edge and see it down there. It's, I guess, it's its final resting place. And so I was out there this morning, kind of figuring out the redesign of that hole is probably gone. but we have a line. We're figuring something out to help you get around that loop. And looks like we're gonna be renumbering again.
Right.
So
Before we let you go, I definitely want to reiterate what Hammy had said just a second ago when he said that we love watching the ladies play because it kind of gives us much more of a litmus test than what we can do. And I always have to tell the viewers that I was fortunate enough that I got to play against Andi for about the first 3 years of me ever playing. So it was always my goal to even just beat Andi one time, much less be able to throw like her. So
I've had an X on my back for a long time.
Yeah, I don't, not very many people get a Hall of Famer that they get to that's their litmus test on beating on their own home course as well. So I'm very fortunate and now that I look back upon it, it's more and more important to me.
If they had stats going way back to when you started, I bet Andy's the world champion drop-in par.
Queen in the upshot, princess layup.
That's right.
Tap it in. Andi is known for up and tap. Nothing hard. Up and tap.
Y'all come out on Thursday nights. I'm gunning for everybody on Thursdays at par 2. Yeah.
My son just has a thing in Tomball I have to go to every Thursday. It's so hard for me on that day. If any other day, I'd be there. That's for sure. But
it's not going anywhere. So
I know.
You know how it is.
Well, Andi, once again, I want to thank you so much for everything that you've done for me, the Fling Show, but especially for what you've done for disc golf, and especially Texas disc golf, and especially Spring Texas disc golf. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's always great to see y'all.
Peace.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah.
See you soon. Come see me.
Go throw something in the air. Go to Spring Valley and throw something in the air and play disc golf. Like we always like to say here on the Fling Show, guys. Go play disc golf and go throw in the air, Spring Valley.
Thank you.
Peace.
Be nice.
Be nice.
Bye.
Night, Andi.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Andy.
Thanks, Emmy.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. All right, look forward to seeing that one. We'll see y'all later. Andy, maybe I'll see you this week.
Okay.
All right, bye.